Let's talk about it today, y'all. Cheers. Before we get started, I'm going to give some shout outs to you guys that have really been representing subscribers, older subscribers, newer subscribers. Quick shout out, community spotlight. Shout out to Lot 39 Logistics, one of our members. Lot 39 Logistics, shout out to you for the comments. Hot Box Trucking, got 29 comments. 20 hearts received. I appreciate you. Shout out to Victor Hughes. Victor, I remember you. I met you at the Quick Trip. You had the reefer truck with the swing doors. Out to you. I'm just seeing this comment right here. It's crazy. I think I did see it. I think I responded back to you. I can't remember. But shout out to you, Vic. You got 5 comments and got some hearts from you. I appreciate that. Brian Burt. Yo, shout out to Brian Burt. Brian, I got to give you a major shout out. Brian, you got 100+ comments and 77 hearts on the videos, bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for showing love. That's massive right there. Rodney Marquis, shout out to Rodney. Rodney, thanks for the comments. Thanks for the hearts. I appreciate all the love. So I want to jump into today's video, you guys. It's 2025. I have questions and I want to answer some questions. And today, one of the questions I have is, if things are not working for you right now, it's 2025. You've been doing the same thing for how many years? It's time to change that. When you say it's time to change, it's time to do something different. If you've been doing the same thing for the past 10, 15, 20 years, and you don't like the results you're getting, you are going to have to do something different. I loved being in the barber industry. I loved that field. That was a passion of mine. But I always knew barbering was that type of industry that would allow me to, pursue my music, be able to be a little more flexible, not having any bosses over my head, being able to create my own schedule. So I've been an entrepreneur in that space for over 30 years, pretty much 28, something like that, 30 years, 28 with my license. But I was an entrepreneur for many years. I've had jobs prior to that, convenience store. I washed dishes. I was a real good dishwasher at an orange skillet at a truck stop, actually. Yeah, I remember that. That's wild. Didn't even think I would be touching the trucking industry ever in my life. And I did, and look what happened. Look what's still happening. And I say all of that to say that sometimes we have to borrow from our future. You got to start tapping into your future. Like, all of us has some type of talent, some type of skill that's deep down within us. I understand that life has a way of just beating those dreams out of us. Life has a way of doing that. It's going to be up to you at the end of the day, like whether you keep pushing forward. There's definitely going to be times that you want to give up. There's times that you're going to want to quit. There's times that it's going to feel like nothing is working out for you. But I'm a firm believer in attracting the things that I want into my life. I'm a firm believer of the law of attraction. Understand the power of your mind. Understand the power of your tongue. What you think about. Listen to me, guys. What you think about, you bring about. That's powerful. What you think about, you bring about. I wrote out my ideal day. I think I mentioned this on the video before. What would my ideal day consist of if I had all the money that I could ever think about having? What would that day look like? I wrote that out, you guys. And a majority of what I wrote out manifested into my life. It's real talk right here. It manifested into my life. Even though I was where I was at when I believe I was in an apartment or something like that. But I was where I was at that moment. But when I wrote out that ideal day, I physically saw myself doing all of those things in my future, right? So as I went along through my journey the universe was working on my behalf, right? So things started to take shape for me when I started writing out my day, my ideal day. Things started to take shape for me. Did I believe it all? Most of it. But I said, let me give it a try. It didn't cost me anything. So I wrote out my ideal day. Wrote it out. Best exercise I ever did in my life. And then years passed by and I looked back at what I had accomplished and what I had wrote down on that paper. In my book, in my notebook, my eyes just filled up with water because I couldn't believe that a majority of the stuff that I wrote out had happened. It came to fruition for me. I was very, very intentional about what I wanted and what I saw myself doing in that ideal day. Now, this is an exercise that you guys can try to do. It's the simplest thing that you could ever do. Write out your ideal day. Write it, make it plain. Write it out, make it plain. Be very specific. Listen, if you want to be terrific, oh my goodness. Listen, if you want to be terrific, you have to get specific. You got to get specific. You got to know what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, you go with the flow. I mean, the only dead fish go with the flow. You got to know what you want. That's first and foremost. Know what you want. And then start taking the steps to get to that, to achieve it. The only way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time, you guys. One bite at a time. Don't always look for the shortcut. Don't always try to take the shortcut on things. Sometimes the shortcut could end up being an even longer route for you. I heard a story, and I told this story before. You guys might have heard me mention this, but a lot of you didn't. So I'm gonna repeat the story again. There was a man by the name of John, and one day John's boss called him outside, and John was working. He was dedicated. He was a dedicated guy to the job, and John comes outside, and the boss puts his arm around John. He says, "Hey, John, I want you to take a look up there on top of that hill." He said, "You see that house way up there on the top of that hill? The big one." He was like, "He talking about the big green one, boss?" He's like, "Yeah, the big green one." He said, "John, one day, if you work really, really hard, that house is going to be all mine." You should have saw the look on John's face. He patted him on the back and he walked off. My question to you is, whose dreams are you building? Are you building yours, or are you building someone else's dreams? Now, I don't say that to try and knock anyone that is, loves their job. You love what you do. All of that is fantastic. This message only resonates with certain people. The guys or the ladies that are, you're tired. You tired. And you want something for yourself. You want to do something for yourself. You want to change the trajectory of your family's financial situation. That's you. Everybody's not like you. Everybody's not like me. I understand that, and I am fine with that. I'm okay with that. But you got to ask yourself, do I want to continue to stay on the same path that I'm on? It's 2025 right now. We're at the top of the year. We have 11 more months to make something shake in 2025. We're at the peak. We're at the top of this thing. So now, right now, is the time. It's decision time, right? If you feel it, like the worst thing you can do is go to sleep or lay down and go to sleep with that thing burning inside of you. That desire, that thing that you know keeps eating at you every single day is in you. And if you feel that thing inside of you, I gotta do something. Yeah. Then this message is for you. This message is specifically for you. Bro, you gotta do something different. You got to do something different. You got to figure it out. You're not gonna rest until you get to the other side of money, financial freedom. It's time to get uncomfortable. Going into the entrepreneurial world is not a comfortable decision, is not a comfortable space, but this is the space that allows you to do what you want, when you want, whenever you want. That can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing for some people. Because if you're not disciplined, if you're lazy, this is not gonna be for you. This is not going to be for you. I'm going to be the first to tell you. If nobody else tells you, Bigg Vic is going to tell you. This may not be for you. Stay on your job. Keep your job. All right? I'm answering some questions, some comments that just came in. Andre asked, he said, I'm slow, but what's a super old age authority? Like a boss or something? No, Andre, a super age old authority is someone who's had their trucking authority for some years, right? It's in good standing and they can call brokers, book loads, and not have any issues moving freight off the load boards with brokers, right? Or probably getting dedicated freight or something along those lines. That's what a super age old authority is. It's a motor carrier authority. All right, hope that answers that question for you. Sam Jigger asks, is there anyone leaving trucking but wants to sell their authority? So if you guys see that comment, if you got if you're leaving trucking and you want to sell your authority, Sam Jigger is eager to possibly purchase your authority. MRN02 asks, is the 2025 Isuzu FTR acceptable? I'm not sure what the 2025 Isuzu FTR is. I don't know. I'm sure that's a truck, but I'm not familiar with that. So I can't answer that question. What's the best truck to buy? I love this question right here. My answer to that is always going to be a truck that works, a truck that is reliable, a truck that has the maintenance history, a truck that has been well maintained. That's the best truck to buy, because truth be told, you can buy a brand new truck and that thing can go down on you as well. It's a truck. A good truck that was well maintained. That's the best truck to buy in my opinion. I don't really get stuck on brand names as much. You know, I have a Freightliner, I have an International. I've owned 2 Internationals and a Freightliner. Those are the only vehicles that I've had. I've had less issues out of my Freightliner than I did my International. I've had to fix my International more than I did my Freightliner. But I don't particularly have a certain brand, right? If I buy another one, if I get a semi, possibly soon, that may be a Peterbilt. I don't know. I'm just looking for a good older model vehicle. I'm not buying anything new. New is not going to happen for me. I'm going to buy something that was well maintained, and hopefully we can make some money with that as well. All right. So hopefully that answered that question. Someone asked, can you earn $15,000 a month? That depends on what you're willing to do, right? If you're trying to be home and sleep every night, I don't know. It depends on what type of freight you move. Do you plan on going OTR, going over the road? Do you have contracted freight? All of those, that type of money, that varies. Can you potentially earn that type of money? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the trucking industry. You absolutely can earn that type of money. So someone asked, Dennis asks, what's the window you're going to negotiate at? I mean, how much more you should ask. So typically, if I'm booking a load with the broker, me personally, I'm always looking at what the averages were, even if it was semi-average numbers. And if this freight is going on my box truck, I'll use that as a gauge to negotiate. I'm not taking less than what that number is. That's not my goal. I take a look at the miles. Typically, the lowest price is always posted on the load boards, right? When it comes to that load board, and brokers are posting those loads, whatever the load board you're using, there should be some more negotiation room in that load. You got to think about the number of carriers that are probably calling on that load. If the load has been sitting for a while and the load hasn't been moved, typically you can negotiate a higher, some more money on that load. I always think $200 to $300 more than what's being posted on the load board every single time. Like whatever is posted, I know is more money in that load. In the back of my mind, I'm always saying to myself, how much more money is probably in this load than what the broker has it posted for? They're not going to put the top price on the load board, that's for sure. Right? Very seldom will you run into a broker that has the load posted for the top price. And if it is an extreme amount of money posted for that load on the load board, you definitely want to find out what it all entails. Because if it's paying very, very great, there's a catch-22 to it. It probably has multiple stops. They probably want the driver to bring the unload it, use your lift gate, bring it inside the building, all types of things. When it's paying an extreme amount of money, right? That like when you see it on the load board, you're like, whoa, this load is paying real good. Let me call and see what this is. 9 times out of 10, that load is it probably got a lot of things going on with it that you definitely need to get the details on, right? So, but I always negotiate more money on those type of loads that I see on any of the load boards. Someone asked Darnell asks, I'm leasing onto a DOT number. All the truck expenses are mine, rent, insurance, etc. Also, I'll be picking my own loads. What's a good percentage to use DOT number? That depends on that number can go from anywhere from 10 to 30%. Just depends on who the person is that you're dealing with, who the carrier is that you're leasing, whatever company you're leasing on to. Everybody has their own number, right? So there is no set number on that. Whatever you guys work out, if it worked for you, if it worked for them, that's the number. Someone asked if I'm going to get in the box truck business, should I sign a 1-year contract? I'm not exactly sure what that means. Sign a 1-year contract with who, with what? What does sign a 1-year contract mean? Someone asked, do you need to have experience driving a box truck to be hired for owner-operator? And would you suggest that, or it doesn't matter? Do you need to have experience driving a box truck to be hired for owner-operator? For owner-operator? If you're an owner-operator, that means you're buying your own truck and you don't have to be hired. So I'm kind of confused by that question slightly. If you're just saying, do you have to have experience to be hired to drive for an owner-operator, then that would be a better way for me to answer that question. That depends on the owner-operator. Depends on who you decide to drive for. They probably would love for you to have some experience, right? Or train you and see how well you handle their vehicle. Someone said, Bigg Vic, I'm out of Franklin, Kentucky. My authority recently made it past 90 days. What should I expect now? I do OTR, by the way. The authority is past 90 days. You will still get told no by some brokers. You can definitely expect that for sure. Now, when you get to about 180 days, get around that 6-month mark, they start lightening up on you a little bit, right? You'll be able to start making some calls. But this is what I will say. Make sure that all of your information matches. Please make sure that you have a professional email address, not a Gmail account. Have a professional email. If your company's name is Franklin Logistics, if it's Franklin Logistics, you should be sending an email from info@franklinlogistics.com. So many companies out here end up looking fraudulent because you have several different emails. Most times when I'm on looking at a load boards like DAT and I look at a company and I'm eyeballing a load and I go down to the comments and I look at the broker's email and it has gmail.com on it, I already noticed that's not going to be a good load. There's something up with that. As a matter of fact, I just recently saw one that said gmail, com. It didn't say .com, it said com. And then that same broker was plastering the load board with a massive amount of loads back to back to back. Thankfully, I have the feature to block them. So I did not have to see that load continuously push all the other loads down because a broker decided to spam the load board. This is a tip for a lot of you guys. I'm gonna throw this out here. Now that I mentioned that, this just brought this to my attention. If your authority is 180 days and you guys are trying to sign up with Amazon, listen to me very, very clearly. Whatever you have listed on FMCSA, please remember whatever it is. Go screenshot your information. That same information needs to match. Listen to me again. All that information needs to match and line up when you go apply with Amazon Relay to be onboarded after your 180 days. If you do not have everything matching, they will deny you, no questions asked. You will not be able to sign up and onboard with them because they will deny you without giving you a reason. Why? So make sure everything is matching, and you shouldn't have any issues onboarding with Amazon. I'm getting carrier after carrier telling me they got denied. And I recently had one of my mentees sign up for the DAT load board and got denied from getting the load board account because he had a different email than what he gave them, a different email than what he had listed on his FMCSA with his, his MC number. So because there's a massive amount of fraud that happens, all your I's have to be dotted, all your T's have to be crossed, everything has to be matching everywhere. That's gonna be a gem for y'all right there. If you decide you're signing up with a different email and it's not listed on FMCSA, you're getting denied. I'm telling you now, you won't even have load board access, right? So make sure everything is matching up. You should be fine at that point. We could not figure it out until I recently had a meeting with DAT, and we discussed that, and that's what they told me. If something's off, no questions asked, you're gonna get denied because of fraud that's happening out here. And just make sure things are matching, guys. If you have any other questions, you guys, drop them down below in the comment section. This year, I'll give you guys a heads up. This year, the Bigg Network will be opening. This year, I will be doing my first mastermind. I haven't decided where the location is going to be at just yet, but that is coming and it's going to be incredible. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. It's going to be incredible, right? Working on the numbers, working on a venue. It's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be for everybody. But if you come, your business is going to be different. That's all I'm going to tell you for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's Homie Bigg Vic TV. You got any questions? Hopefully I can answer them down below in the comment section. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Let the algorithm. Listen, always hustle, never stop growing. Till the next video, let's go. Let's get it. Let's eat, baby.